Welcome, everyone. This is Piney Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO, and here are LOTRO Players. This week we have with us Terry Adwin.
Hi.
Maven.
Hey, y'all.
Sanswinda.
Hello.
Carvette.
At your service and your families.
And today we'll begin with a little bit of sad news because Carvette is departing.
Yes. It is with bittersweet news I announced that Carvette is going to be hanging up his axe for the time being. After looking at several of the events that have happened in my personal life over the past couple months, it's been like, I need to start trimming some things down and spending more time on the family. So one of the things that I need to trim down will be, unfortunately, this podcast. It's been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed it greatly. You can still find me around the web, but you probably won't find me here.
Great. I wish you luck in getting everything straightened out.
It'll be good. I mean, we've got some things with the house we're going to take care of and the kids, and making sure we focus on schoolwork and figure out what to do with this van thing. But yeah, it's just so much going on right now. It's like I need to kind of trim the fat a little bit.
Did you just say band thing?
Van. Yeah, okay. Band. No.
Because I totally heard band. I'm like, wait, what?
No. One of the stressors that hit recently was we got into a car accident that was completely not our fault. Lady ran through an intersection, plowed right into us. But once we sorted all the mess out, the insurance company said, yeah, your van's messed up. Here's some money. We're not going to fix it. So now we're down to one car. We're juggling, and we're trying to figure out who's going to do what where, and that on top of some school things, and on top of work being crazy, and then some other things that have come up. It's just like, okay, too much. So focusing, really, it's a retuning of what I can and can't do.
I was kind of looking forward to carving the carvelets.
We'll see. My kids have been wanting me to stream with them for a while, so maybe at some point I will do some carving the carvelets type ridiculousness.
Wouldn't that make a great band name, Carving the Carvelets?
we'll be like a preteen doo-wop band, interspersed with
Hanson, only better.
Yeah, instead of bop, it'll be like, stop that! You gotta go around and stop that. Anyway.
And then your second song is going to be about spiders?
Exactly. Spider Queen, watch Mrs. Carve jump up and hit the screen. She can't stand that spider. Yeah, that'll be something else too.
With that, we head into our game news, and this week the people at Standing Stone Games have launched their new newsletter for LOTRO, the LOTRO Beacon, issue number 1. And this newsletter is based on the chronicle that they have had on DDO for quite some time. I think they have had like 180 issues of that. So yes, the DDO version of it has been around for a while, and with Cordovan being the community manager now, I do remember he said something about, in response to someone's question, on if they intended to have a newsletter for LOTRO, and he said he was intending to, and this is fulfilling that promise. Or I guess it was a hope, more like than a promise.
This is actually really cool.
Right.
I agree.
So, yeah, it's a nice little place. It gives you a community spotlight where they go over some areas, some events that are happening within the community. And then they have a section on the Kin Hall where they could highlight a kinship and talk about fan site things. And these are things happening over from the fans. For example, they give a shout out to our show. They also give us shout out to many of the other fan sites that are all throughout the LOTRO community.
That's what I think is great. I mean, it doesn't try and do the work that people have already done. It's just pointing you toward the stuff that people have already done. So it's just more exposure for the fan sites that are already out there.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the level of communication that is not only flowing from Sandy Stone and the community, but also the community at large through the different stream channels and the different blogs and whatnot. Things that we used to have to like beg and scrape to get groups together, like on the forums, people just casually mention on a stream, and then like 4 or 5 people just jump onto a server and are like, I want to do that thing you talked about. And it's like, oh, that's cool. I just found out like a couple of days ago that they're trying to revitalize the level 50 kinship over on Brandywine for doing retro content on level. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool. It took me forever to get that group together last time. And, like Evil Twin mentions it, and then somebody else mentioned it, and somebody else mentioned it, and they were like, yeah, let's do that. And I'm like, that's awesome. The community coming together because somebody's got a broader audience they can throw the idea to is really neat.
Now, one of the features is the weekly comment, and this is something that exists in the DDO version. That is where there's this little question in there, and you could respond to it in the post on the Chronicle. And this week's is, what is a terrible Hobbit breakfast?
No breakfast would be the answer.
Oh, yeah.
That would be pretty terrible.
Terrible Hobbit breakfast.
That's kind of a no-brainer there.
What would a Hobbit consider a terrible breakfast food? I mean, I guess anything that was like obviously not breakfast food, like salted fish or something. I don't know.
Well, who knows? I don't know how strict hobbits are on what they consider to be breakfast food.
Yeah. I think eggs and jam and biscuits and cakes and bacon and stuff like that. But like roast tomatoes with nice crispy bacon, some eggs. That sounds tasty. I can't think of anything they'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you had that for breakfast.
Maybe if it was something small, like a single granola bar, and that was like all they got.
One of those like foil wrapped cereal bars with the paste that's supposed to be fruit filling. I can see a Hobbit calling that like a horrible breakfast. How many do you have? 4. Exactly.
And one of the features there is also the screenshot of the week. And this week we have this nice little shot from the Gondorian housing area. At least it looks like the Gondorian housing area to me.
So it's like a shot of the bank or something?
It's definitely a housing area because there's there's an oven out in the yard.
Yeah, that's a bit of a...
That's kind of a dead giveaway.
Yeah. Now, is that huge statue like something you can acquire? Or is that part of the natural scenery?
I don't remember.
Because that's cool either way. It's like, wow, I want one of those in my yard, maybe.
It looks like it, because it looks like it's on someone's property. It might be...
Oh, okay. It might be somebody's yard decoration they acquired.
But the shot makes it look pretty huge.
Well, I mean, there's some pretty big yard decorations.
Statues for yards are pretty huge.
Oh, you're right. That's right. I think I have seen 1 or 2 pretty large yard statues, now that I think about it.
The Dragok dragon. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, it's
enormous.
Huge. Or like Thader's, they say Thader? No, it's Thurlak's sword. That thing is ginormous too, and it's just a sword.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I mean, the Dragok statue is ginormous. Yeah, and there's a couple of really big ones you can get, but yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things I love about LOTRO is that the game, even though it's like it's a much older platform than a lot of the newer stuff, the world building is just phenomenal. I never am ceased to amazed when I'm traveling through something. I see different things. I'm like, man, this is really cool. I've never seen this before. What is this? Exploring some of the nooks and crannies of Forakel, I find all these really neat things like, oh, this is a cool ice cavern. I don't remember this. Or what's this over here? Oh, wow, that's cool. I don't remember that. It's just, I love this game and just exploring around, even when I'm not really doing anything of importance.
So expect to see a nice little screenshot at the end of each of the issues of the LOTRO Weekend, our new newsletter. So now let's head into store sales, and I presume that this week's store sale is better than the last one?
Yeah. This week's store sales, by the way, are Terry approved. Sample of the week, not so much, because I don't really use the rejuvenation potions. But hey, you get 5 of them for free, and the coupon code is DRINKME, which is hilarious. I love it.
Also wonder
I saw it on the webpage and I started
Alice
cracking up.
approved. Yes.
Alice
Yeah,
approved,
Alice
absolutely.
approved. And then the store sales this week, we have 20% off select cosmetics, shared wardrobe, cosmetic outfit slots, mounted combat trait specs, and worsted cosmetic slots. So now is the time to buy them. They don't go on sale very often. So
No,
get
they
those
don't.
now.
When that shared wardrobe goes on, you get it while it's good.
For the cosmetics, double check to make sure you can't find it somewhere in the world, because some of the stuff they say is store exclusive is not actually store exclusive. You can pick it up in I know. You can pick it up in the skirmish camp, and of course the one store exclusive that is store exclusive that I really was hoping was on sale isn't on sale.
Oh.
The Cloak of the Citadel Guard, because I need more copies of that. For reasons. Also, it is Loot Box Weekend this weekend through Monday, so through February 26th, it's Loot Box Weekend.
Which is fantastic.
Then let's head into our site news, and we'll begin with the community events for February 24th through March the 2nd. And of course,
Mardi
as
Gras in
usual,
Middle Earth.
Sounds like
that
not
is
much
awesome.
going on.
There's
well,
all kind of stuff going on, but go ahead, Brian.
yeah, it all gets finished up with.
Yeah, it's usually done by the time the podcast comes out, because it's going on right now-ish.
Yeah, I don't know if the. Oh, hold on. Apparently, one of the groups, and this shows you Middle Earth temperament, is apparently Carnival is going to be continuing past Tuesday. That's right. Middle Earth, they don't care about Lent.
Lance. There's really not much in the way of religion you see in the texts at all, so of course they're not going
True.
to care about land. They're like, whatever.
Whatever, yes. They live in a nice clement area, so therefore they don't have a food shortage at the end of February.
There you
That's
go.
right.
Huh.
So, yes, it looks like, next week the Grand Carnivale continues on. It looks
On
like
Serennan.
on Saran, and trying to read this because it looks like on the
Yeah, the post is in French.
Yeah, okay, it's in French. Okay, yeah, so it looks like on 4th of March, it looks like. Yeah, 4th of March. Oh, yeah, 3 p.m. It says March 3rd in the text above, but it looks like it says 4 March.
3rd and 4th,
Events
maybe?
going on in the,
3rd and 4th.
Yeah, there's some events going on the 3rd. There's some going on the 4th.
Okay, that's not Easter time. That's et means also. Okay, 3rd and 4th of March. Okay, got it.
Yeah, that word is pronounced A, and it means and.
Oh, it's pronounced A.
Congratulations. Welcome
Okay,
to
I
Local
guess
Players
I'm-
News, where we try to figure out stuff in languages we don't speak.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Actually,
I'm used to when I see
actually took
spelled
8 years of French.
yeah.
Well, we
Okay, that's right, because when I see the word, I think of the Latin pronunciation, which would be supposed to be et, then A, but yeah, you're right, French, it would be A.
Yeah, silent T.
Silent T. So that's community event. So let's then head into LOTRO Academy 139, the champion. Okay, who's the champion?
as in
awesome
the character
episode.
class, the champion.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
character class, the champion, yes.
Cool.
It's hours of Brannick and Andang and I and Morton Sands and Pine listening as we discuss champions.
Yeah, you got 3 people who know the champion and the 3 people who are saying, huh, class? Or occasionally asking questions on, so how does it work?
So did you guys like dig into the mechanics of the champion? What makes it good? What makes it bad? What makes it meh?
Yes.
The
We
mechanics
go
of what
over
makes it
all
good,
three.
what makes it good.
Yeah, well, what makes it great, and what makes it okay.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Blue line tank, but there's I actually was the one who went over the blue line tank because we split up. I did blue line, Brannick did yellow line, and Andy did red line, and we each took a turn explaining what the different trait lines are and when to use them and all that other fun stuff. And of course, I'm the only one of the three of us who's had experience doing the champion tank thing. And as I'm reading through the traits, it's like, so basically, I would read the tooltip and then explain what the tooltip actually means. So basically, every tooltip can be explained by, and it works by having everything hit you in the face.
Yep. Pretty much. Blue line champion tanking is all about getting hit repeatedly.
Yep.
You get hit before they do, and you get hit more often than they do. And you're a tank.
Then let's head into endings. Ask You Anything video for this week was, how would you rank LOTRO's expansion?
Did that mean like the expansion of Lotro since the dawn of time, or
They're talking about the paid expansions, meaning Moria,
got it, okay.
Mirkwood, Isengard, Rohan, and Helm's Deep. How you would rank them relative to each other? Basically,
it's an open debate.
Yeah.
What do you think about the expansions in order from the best thing ever to why did we do this?
Yeah.
And lather, rinse, repeat. It's like, let's begin the bloodletting. I mean, the discussion. Depending on how passionate you get involved in whatever it is.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then we have two articles from Aradeathalion.
Which is
Aradeathalion reviews where he goes into Bree, where he first goes into a South Bree, and so that the North part won't complain, then he goes to North Bree and beyond.
The first thing I see when I look at the Breland South Bree review is this area is kind of like the big party zone for everyone. I love it. So guests of Middle Earth can come to Bree, and where it's like an all-night RP kegger, as well as bands and musicians, and if you're lucky, you can grab a passing dwarven ale cart. Woo-hoo! I'm awesome.
Pretty much is South Bree, though.
It really depends on what server you're on, but yeah, Bree is totally like that. South Bree is definitely a lot like that. I mean, where else in Middle Earth can you go to catch a stable master or hit the auction house and walk out and see 5 hobbits on a fence playing, I don't know, Exit Light from, whatever. Wow. Is that Mario? No. Yes.
And then we go into exploring the Lord of the Rings is what to do with the ring.
I guess that should be my cue, huh?
Yeah, that's your cue.
Well, I know this is our wonderful Lily Kay, right? That's doing our diary along the lines, we're in Lowerland. We were at Lowerland this last Tuesday, and so we were in the afternoon to be able to be with the European kinship. It was a dwarf kinship, the blue dwarves of the sea, Blue Mountain Regiments. That was our hosting kin, and just so happened that the field trip was to Thorn's Gate, so of course they were thrilled.
Nice.
And we've now almost gotten through chapter 2. He was supposed to get through chapter 2, but he said there's still a little bit more he wants to do next time.
Just a little bit more. One more
But it
page.
is actually really cool. I mean, we're going through, I mean, you really get into a lot of the nuance, because if chapter 2 is, Shadow of the Past, and it's where Gandalf actually fills in Frodo on, hey, let me just tell you about the thing you got in your pocket there.
Yes.
And I hate
This
to tell you this,
item
but
of ultimate evil.
gonna-
It's not
yeah,
that
it's going
big
to
a
eat
deal.
your soul up and turn you into this, perpetually
This-
living fish-eating thing.
But it's totally okay.
But it's okay, and
That's
I
okay,
left you
we're
alone
gonna
for
deal with
17
that.
years, just because. And then, to have Frodo actually choose to, keep it and go on with it. And so it is interesting, because it's really the first time, I think a lot of us are like this, where we really look at it really closely, and how Gandalf kind of soft pedals it, to start with. And also then Frodo's reactions, which are, I mean, it just makes me really appreciate Tolkien all the more, because we were talking about, like, Frodo has a reaction where initially you think it's kind of like inappropriate, because, obviously this is bad because the wizard and, all this stuff. And then you're like, well, wait a second. This is totally understandable that Frodo would have the reaction he's having. Anyway, so, you don't get to do that. I, at least, have never been able to do that when I'm reading it on my own, because I'm kind of like, okay, let's get to the action. Give me to the action.
Let's get to the good stuff.
Yeah. So I've always sort of glossed over, especially after I read it the first couple of times. It's like, oh no, I want to just read the part, get to the parts that I really enjoy. So it's been really, really good. But like the other day I was telling Corey, I said, I'm listening to it on audio, and I got up to chapter 5 and I was like, whoa, steady girl, don't go any further. Because chapter 5 is like, that could be like November. So let's just wait.
It could be a long time before you get to that class.
And the thing is, if you listen too far ahead, then you kind of lose that nuance, like, I want to be relatively close to where we are in class, so it's still fresh in my mind. Anyway, awesome questions. People are just bringing up, we're having really good conversations. So anybody who doesn't make the class, or can't make it, it's up on the YouTube channel, the Signum University YouTube channel. And it's like I say, you could probably drop in pretty much any time. Like, pick your favorite chapter and just, watch those YouTubes if you want to. We're not going to be having a class next Tuesday, by the way, just in case anybody who's listening to this tonight or on Monday. Tuesday, the 28th, we're not having class, but then we'll be back on the 7th. So anyway, it was a great class. Oh, and Lily Kate actually got to be there, like, normal time for her, which is pretty awesome.
Cool.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what's going to happen when the host kinship is in Australia.
That's a toughie. We haven't had to cross that bridge yet. I don't know. That's a good question. We may have to have it at like 6 a.m., which would not be Corey's vote at all.
Do you want me to get up when?
Actually,
I'm sorry.
if we could have it at like 2 in the morning, he'd be all over that. He'd be thrilled. That'd be great for him. Because that's like when he's at his, peak. So me, I don't know, the Hobbit sidekick, not so much. So I don't know. So anybody that's got an Australian kin, I mean, you're welcome to let me know, and we'll just see how it goes. But thanks for asking, Pine Leaf.
That'll be like that'll be the coffee gathering.
Oh, for sure. Anyway, so it's going really well.
The other one could be a Russian one.
Yeah.
Because won't be a couple hours earlier than the one for Larlin in that case.
That would be earlier. Yeah, that's right. So we'll see. And it was kind of cool. And on Larlin, when I went back after the class was over, I took my character back to the lore hall, and there was a band in there, like, playing in the lore hall, and I'm like, well, that's cool. So people are using the lore hall for other stuff, and it was pretty awesome. I mean, what a great place to play. Anyway,
that's cool.
To anybody else on any other servers? Yeah, pretty cool.
Use the lore hall for a band. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Then let's head into the family line, part 123. Eastward Bound.
The story goes on. Go ahead.
Obviously, he can't be an elf if he's eastward bound.
He could be. He could be a rebel elf.
He could just be really lost.
Oh, okay. He could do everything.
He could be one of those high elves they were talking about, potentially. I was supposed to go west, but I got my compass turned around. I was looking at it upside down.
Then let's head into our new player question of the week. And Sans, what's the question?
The question this week: how important are virtues, and do you have a favorite virtue?
Well, virtues definitely fill in the gaps where you're not going to get skills from gear or from leveling. So virtues are really good for like capping out your mitigations, buffing your physical and your tactical, your resistances, even a nice little buff to morale. You can get stat increases from them. Virtues are really nice, especially for the mitigations and the resistances, because you don't really get that from a lot of other stuff.
The bad news is you need to do a lot
of
of
deeds,
deeds.
yeah.
Or spend a heck of a lot of LOTRO points. You pick.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend any LOTRO points. You spend. Yeah, you do.
Well, I mean, you spend the nice thing is if you do the deeds, you get some LOTRO points as compensation plus the virtue. If you buy the virtues, you spend a whole lot more LOTRO points, but you don't spend the time. So it's kind of a trade-off. You decide what you want to do, the time,
it's whether
or
you have the time
grind.
or the money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
For most of my characters, okay, I have one character that has capped virtues.
Wow.
At least of the 5 that are equipped. All my other characters, well, I have my Lord Master starting to get decently into virtues. I think all the others is, what's a virtue?
Virtue.
Yeah.
I've heard of
3,
this
4,
virtue.
right? It's supposed to be at 4, right?
Virtue.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be at 4. I remember reading forum posts like, before you go into Moria, you should have at least 6 on all your virtues, guaranteed. Or you're gonna die. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, it's a good thing that wasn't true.
That was a while back, though.
Kidding, huh?
Now it's like whatever.
Yeah.
That was definitely back in the day.
Well, do you even get virtues when you like Blessing of the Valor? I don't think you do.
You get 4.
How do you get 4? Okay, so that's something, I guess.
I've been experimenting using my virtues for mitigations. Because you don't get mits. I think it's the mits you don't really get essences for, right?
Yeah, mits,
correct.
Tactical, physical, a little bit of resistance.
Yeah. So and if you want to know my favorite, given that that's what I'm doing at the moment, right now my favorite I think is Innocence. It's got a physical mit and a tactical mit.
Right.
And a physical mit.
Innocence is a favorite by many people.
Is it? And you also get resistance rating as well.
Plus resistance.
Yeah. Plus resistance, and it's pretty good. And I mean, I'm talking about on my hunter, which is of course physical is her thing, her main thing anyway, and the physical is a higher stat than the tactical on Innocence. Is it the only one that has the 2 together?
No, there's a couple of them. If you go to the LOTRO wiki, there's a whole chart that shows you which virtue gives you what bonuses to it, and there's actually typically there's going to be one virtue that has that as the primary, one virtue that has it as a secondary, and then another virtue that has it as the third or the tertiary, I think as they call it.
Oh my God, Mo is not happy about this news.
I know. He's like, I have to grind for 3 different virtues to stack physical mitigations? That's horrifying. I'm like, well, actually, technically, physical mitigations comes from 6 virtues, so let that blow your mind for a little bit there.
Well, but are there any besides Innocence that have both of them? The
Compassion.
Compassion does.
Yeah, Compassion does. Compassion.
That's it.
Compassion actually has the same ratio too. The only difference is when you get Innocence, you trade out resistance for non-combat power restore.
Oh, okay.
So that's why Innocence tends to get the nod on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the resistance boost is pretty nice.
I don't know. For me, it's not the most favored one, but I've always liked Zeal because I just think of myself as a zealous hero. I'm like, I mean, Zeal gives you a boost to morale, it gives you some physical mitigation, and it gives you armor, which for most characters, the armor is like, it'll get washed out by whatever else you want. But I just like the idea of, I want more morale and to be physically mitigated in Zeal. It's just a cool thing. It's cool sounding. I know the Zeal requires a lot of Slayer deeds, though.
Yeah, I have that too. I have, in fact, that's one of my higher is Zeal. But again, I think I picked it because of the physical mitigation.
Yeah. I remember at one point a buddy of mine
Not
and I
because
were
I'm
doing.
particularly zealous. I mean, I'm not that zealous.
I like it more for a roleplay reason than an actual practical reason. It's kind of lame, but it's fun. A friend of mine and I at one point sat down and we created a spreadsheet to figure out which virtues gave you the best bonuses for your class, and we discovered in the process that it seems, at least until you get to Moria, the virtues that give you things that are more prevalent for spellcastery types and will-based individuals is more exploration type stuff. And then if you're more of a crunchy physical fighter type melee character, you have to do a lot of Slayer deeds to get your virtues. I was like, well, that's interesting. Spellcasters got it a little bit easier in terms of the first half of the game. It switches up the higher levels you go, though.
Then let's head into our week in LOTRO. And Carvette, what have you been doing? Grinding virtues?
I tend to grind virtues anyway because I'm doing all the Slayer deeds to try and scrape the 5 and 10 LOTRO point bonuses I get from them. So eventually I'm like, oh, hey, look, I have a decent amount of virtues on this level 30 character because I've done all the deeds. But mostly I don't plan for it. It just kind of happens as a side product. I've rediscovered how much fun Hobbit Guardians are because it's like busted kneecaps for days. Every creature I fight, it's like I run up to it, and whether I'm using an axe or a club or a hammer or a sword, it's like, oh, look, there's an orc towering me. You got no kneecaps, slice. And it's just a lot of fun. I was like, okay, this is cool. At first I was using like a hatchet and a shield for a while, and then I picked up like a two-handed hammer, and I was like, oh, I'm going to try this hammer. Oh, that looks fun. So I was running around the Lowlands, busting up on a little hobbit I had today. I've also discovered that roving threats have made Forakel a much more interesting and cardiovascular place. As I'm like, oh, I remember this place. I just run over this ridge and I cut down this valley, and oh my gosh, what is that? I am not going near that. Run away, run away, run away. Yeah, so that happened several times recently. And then here's a free-to-play tip that I was looking for this morning. Save the writ of special passage you get from your intro welcome gift blue package thing. They are great for running around later on, especially when you don't have access to the Swift travel, because you only get that particular special writ of passage from that present. I haven't found another way to get it, and if you know of it, let me know. But what I'll tend to do is if I put like an LP grinder where I'm just running a quick character for some quick LP to buy something, I usually don't burn that. I'll save that so that I can throw it on another character who I know I'm going to do something like, Volume 1. Because Volume 1, you go everywhere and back again, and then back again, and then back again. And so having a few of those in your vault when you're like, yeah, I know I'm going to go here, talk to this guy once, and then I'm going to go over to the other side of the map and talk to this other guy once. I want to have a few of those handy. So that's a tip for you. Sanswinda, how about your week?
Well, I finished class quests for the hunter that I leveled rather quickly, trying to get it from level 1 to Wildermore as fast as possible. And started contemplating virtues, because I was thinking it might be a good idea. But if 4 works for Pine Leaf, why not?
I think virtues really become a big deal if you're going to be like a serious tier 2 raider type.
See,
but if
there
you're
you
not,
go.
then
There you go, Sanswinda.
don't worry about it.
She's got her heart set on tier 2 work.
What's a tier 2 raid?
Isn't that what they call them? Challenge mode? Hard mode?
Well,
Pine Leaf is joking because he doesn't do that.
Oh, Pine Leaf is like, I won't mess with that. That's scary.
You're talking about skirmish raids, right? No.
Well, anything really. When you really want to do the super hardcore content, you gotta invest in the virtues, and you gotta have all your stats up, and they're really like Uber. The Uber groups are like, are your your stats capped? Do you have all of the right essences? You gotta like pass an interview process to get in. So it's like, yeah, no, I'm serious. There was one I talked to at one point. This was years ago, but I was like, yeah, I'd like to check that out. And then I talked with somebody about it, and they were like, yeah, you got to have this and this and this and that. And I was like, okay, I don't even have the interest to listen to you finish what you're telling me I have to have. I'm okay. Y'all have fun. It's like, it sounds like I was applying for a job. And if that's the way you like to play, then you have fun with that. But for me, it was like, nah, it's okay.
Daddy, can we come
I can. I've been summoned. I'll be back.
Okay. And then I pretended to be a Swan Knight in the Minas Tirith epic battles. I'm pretty sure they couldn't tell the difference.
They couldn't tell the difference? You were on a hobbit, right?
Yeah, a little hobbit hunter dressed like a champion.
She's just really short for.
I think they probably
For
thought she was a little
fun night.
kid.
They might have thought I was a little kid playing dress up.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
But, yeah, it was fun. I even put on boots, though, so the disguise should have been pretty good.
Well...
And I also survived the Mirkwood Landing intro instance for the first time ever. Well, in the 3 times that I've tried it.
I just...
that first one? Yeah, oh my gosh.
I just checked the virtues on my hunter.
And
Oh, they're going to be amusing. I'll say it when I talk about my hunter later. Okay.
anyway, I also discovered that Mirkwood Landing intro instance can be done with up to 3 people, even though the quest clearly says it's a solo instance and cannot be done
I
in a
didn't
fellowship.
know that.
Yeah. So I
Wish I'd
didn't
known
do it
that
with a
before.
fellowship, but I discovered that it could be done with a fellowship, which was hopeful. So Maven, how was your week?
I've kind of done that with a fellowship because those other people end up killing the guy after I've died. You know, the NPCs. So
In that sense, yes.
yeah. But you guys might remember when I was on my warden. Remember when I was on my warden and I told you I couldn't get out of that instance? That was the instance. I mean, I think I died like 4 times and I finally made it through. I had to actually go study. Well, the thing was, I didn't have my right stuff down to do the, what do we call them? To stack to the right
The
skills.
gambit thingies.
The gambits, that's right. I didn't have my gambit set up right. So I went and studied on LOTRO Wiki, what I needed. And I put a really good dot one in, and I put a really good hot one in, and then I had some other ones that I knew I liked. And then that really made a difference. So, Warden, kind of like Warden 101, do the right gambits. So, that kind of helped. But anyway, but my week in LOTRO, wait a minute, I got to remember what it is I wrote, which is down here. Oh, yeah, so I did the trio of Estelden epic instances, the one where you have to save Dory and the one where you have to go talk to that silly Nelly Boskins, and then the one where you have to go to Nan Wethrin and kill the bad dude for Gildor. Arether and I did that on our 2 Dwarves and a Sad Poo stream on Monday, and they went really well. I mean, whenever I do those, I kind of reminisce back to when I was first doing them, my very first character, and boy, it was like, I was sweating the whole time, blood, my heart's pounding, my blood pressure's up, and this time when we went through course, we've got a minstrel and a hunter, and with the hunt and blue line, I was in blue line, and so blue line hunter and an angry hands minstrel. It was like, and you get the inspiration too, and it was like easy. So that was really different from the old days. Then I also ran that group of quests in Minas Tirith Besieged. Wink, wink. That group of quests where you go, oh my god.
Yes.
It was my
See
second time
things
through,
that
but it
should
was
never be seen. Ugh.
They see things that should never be seen. Sans Windows first time through, and Terry and I were like, biting our tongues to not say anything. But boy, even having gone through and even knowing what to expect, it still is just kind of mind blowing. And then in the course of mat gathering, I thought, I'm going to go mat gathering. It was a night when I didn't even turn on my sound. I was watching TV. I'm going to go get mats. All these other alts need all these mats, specifically in Rohan. And so I ended up in the West Emnet, and I realized I had completely not finished. This is on my firstborn, my eldest, on Glordriel the Hunter, had not done Broadacres. Not any of Broadacres. I had started Broadacres, but I don't know if any of you remember, there is an instance in Broadacres where you have to go with the Torlug's camp or whatever it is, and you have to go up into Torsbury to defeat everybody and do all these terrible things. And I couldn't remember. I didn't remember until I got there. It was like, oh, I remember why I didn't do this place. I couldn't get past this one instance. I just died so many times on the instance. I finally was like, that's it. Forget it. These guys don't need me. I'm moving on. But of course,
a good idea. Yeah.
The problem is not completing Broadacres that I didn't. It was the one thing outstanding in my Explorer of West Ebnet deed. It was the one thing, and the quest. It's like all that stuff. So I thought, okay, well, now that I'm at level cap, I'll just go back and complete these, which was kind of cool actually, because all of these places had good stories, and this was another good story. So I went ahead and finished that, and so I get the satisfaction of having completed another area that I hadn't completed, and also got to see another story in Rohan, which and in fact it's kind of applicable for my thesis. So that was convenient.
And a trait point.
And a trait point, which of course now I need a second trait point since I can't slot the trait point at this time. I need 2 trait points now to do.
You have to earn another trait point.
Yeah, I got. I have to get some promotion. Go for my second level of promotion points in epic battles. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get right on that. No.
As somebody who's done that, I can honestly say it's not recommended.
Yeah, I know, really. So I don't know where else to get a trait point at this point. I'll have to look that up. I'm sure LOTRO Wiki I can figure it out. Well, maybe we'll get more when we. I don't know. Probably not in the expansion. I would imagine when they raise the level cap. Well, anyway.
Well, usually one every other level. Usually, right?
No, I'm at 105. So I mean, I'm pretty much.
Yeah, but when we go to 107.
Oh, that's true.
109, 111.
That's right. Yeah, 113, 115. Wherever they take us.
Reasons why the level cap really needs to go up.
That's true. How about you, Miss Terry?
Well, I didn't do a whole lot in LOTRO this week, honestly. But my Arkenstone Hunter did some more grinding towards the Shire Metadeed. Man, Life of a Banner Final is long. 75 quests. And if you do all of the mail and pies, it's a little over 30-something.
Mm-hmm.
So I did all the mail, did all the pies. That was last week. And did a couple of additional quests. And I was at like 36 of 40 for advanced. So I got those out of the way. And I've got like 2 left to do for Shire Brewmaster. And I still have to... I'm still at like 65 of 75 or something ridiculous like that. It's like, come on, really? So I really think that that's something they should look at. Maybe lower the number just a little bit. Because I get that there's a lot of stuff to do with the Shire, but you got to be really, really dedicated to do the Shire multiple times. And yeah, I've done it a good half dozen times. So I know what I'm talking about. Also, Lashillian, my Runekeeper, went splat in the epic story twice, and it was really annoying, and I got really frustrated, and was frustrated enough to be near tears, and then I realized that the reason why she went splat is because it's a spot in the story where you're forced into a solo instance. She's not done a solo instance, she's not done a solo anything since about level 85.
Thank you.
You're welcome. However, it's really kind of sucking to be in a solo instance and yeah. So
not remembering how to do it. It's like, what do I do?
Well, and I didn't have time to learn how to be a solo player before I went splat.
Understandable.
So I don't know, maybe I'll have to run some skirmishes with her or something to get back in the groove of playing by herself, or I don't know. Pineleaf, how was your week?
Okay, we'll begin with my Arkenstone Hunter, who hadn't been played in a while, so I dusted her off and finished up the East Rohan Epic, then went into Wildermore, and this is in preparation to running Wildermore with Terry, so I got to Forlaw, and I found out why I had the Forlaw port. Not the Forlaw port, but the Forlaw, my milestone was at Forlaw. Okay, why is my milestone at Forlaw? And right there, I arrived in there, and there's Bingo Boffin standing in the middle of Forlaw. So
Well, that explains a little bit.
Yeah, that explains what. So yeah, so this was one of those characters I was doing Bingo Boffin with. And therefore seeing how but I decided that while we were talking about virtues, to see what my virtues are like on my hunter, when Sans was saying, well, I got my virtues at the 4, that's good enough. I'd say, okay, it looks like I've got 5, 4, 4, 3, 1.
That's awesome.
Now, I do notice, though, that Innocence, which is at 4, is not slotted, so I'm going to replace the 1 with Innocence, so at least I'm now 5, 4, 4, 3, 4. So at least I'm averaging 4.
Well,
There
that's
you go.
better.
Come on, man. Of course,
So
that's up at level 85, though, right?
84. Yeah. So, yeah, that's going to... So maybe I need to do a little bit of work on the virtues there.
I don't know. I think Arkenstone Terry is probably about there too.
Yeah, there's probably no huge shock on the matter. Especially since this was a character that I went through. I think this is the character I used when I was recording Bingo Boffin from Eregion into all the way until I got to Wildemore. I think after that the level jumps were just too much where I couldn't keep up, so I switched to a capped character after that. So therefore, I was going through pretty fast, leveling pretty fast, and taking the time in which to do deeds and stuff like that was certainly no luxury for them. Then on my champion that I'm using in my current series, speaking of characters that are going to be really trashy on virtues, I've reached level 43 and I've started my questing in the Misty Mountains. So I finished up by watching a talking warg get killed by the rest of his pack. And I've come to the conclusion that I like the flow of the quest in the Misty Mountains. No, the leveling I think is better now than it was in the past, but the flow of the quests I think were better than before the revamp. And were better before the revamp than they are now. Because the auto bestow quests that you have here just don't make sense.
No. Because you still have to go turn them in.
And it's the fact that you don't have the hint of where to take them because you weren't given the quest by that person in the first. Sorry.
Yeah, I got you.
The feeder quest that sends you into the Misty Mountain is given by the person who originally. So why not just have her give you the quest to look for the artifacts? Oh, while you're at it, you can talk to the dwarves there and do it that way. So it makes a little bit of sense. And it was even worse is on my YouTube video, I opened up one where I finally got a quest ring from Glowing. This is right after finishing the quest at High Crag. I get to Glowing. I'm talking to him. He says, what quest does he have for me? He says, oh, go to High Crag. What do you mean? I just finished High Crag. Slap!
Yep.
That's right. Because I had already finished the quest there.
Yeah. It's
so
a lot
I did
of
the
back
feeder
and
quest
forth.
after finish. No, it wasn't back and forth. I was through there.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it was that he does not give you that quest until you do the second Kill Bears quest. And and that's picked up by auto bestow quests, and I was doing them as I was doing High Crag. And so therefore I finished up High Crag. Okay, High Crag also has these does have some full fellowship ones where they send you a giant country, but of course I wasn't doing those solo, so therefore that was moot.
Yeah.
What, you weren't soloing that, Pineleaf?
No.
You are. I remember I had enough trouble with it when I had a group there. Right?
I remember flying off of things rather regularly, yeah.
Oh,
Come
man.
on, champion!
Giant Country is so much fun, but it is definitely better with a group.
Terry, there's a reason why you haven't been watching my series. And it's because
It's because I don't watch stuff on YouTube because I don't have time, honestly.
Oh, I was thinking it was because the way I play a champion would make you cringe.
No, actually, I'm that serious, and I've caught a couple of episodes. I don't have time to watch stuff.
It's like, well, there's that, but I wasn't going to bring it up.
And then I also recorded my response to Ending's question on how I would rate the expansion that will be going up on the tube tonight.
Cool.
And I used a different set of assumptions. Ending did, so therefore my order's not exactly the same as Ending.
That's good. It's good. Do
So let the
different
fight
things.
begin.
Yes. Throw the gauntlet. Let cry havoc. Let loose the dogs of war.
Thank you, Henry V. We currently have 22 supporters on Patreon. If you would like to join us in this illustrious raid of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest with us here on LOTRO Players News. We did not have any comments, but we did have an email from Timur Vildanov, from one of the Russian. And Terry, what did he say?
Well, he said, "Hello, please return Hunter Skill Blood Arrow, regen morale 20% instantly. Thank you." Which probably shouldn't have been addressed to the podcast because there's not. I mean, we joke about having dev credit like a dev token. But we actually are not able to affect any kind of changes to the game.
Yeah. And we do agree with that, right? I mean, that's a great idea.
Well, I don't know what. I guess I'm not exactly sure what that means.
That was a skill that used
I
to be a
think
great
it's the buff
heal.
on the blood arrow. It's the immediate morale restoration that you get. From
I
blood
guess
arrow.
I never remembered getting a morale restoration on Blood Arrow.
I thought
guess
it cost morale before they changed it.
So did I.
It did in the past. Yeah, it did. It did cost morale in the past.
And it doesn't anymore. And in fact, I think I don't think it gives morale every single time, but I think there's a chance that it will. Oh, is that right? Anyway.
I'm not positive.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me look here.
I use it for a bleed chance now.
It takes power. Duration 8 seconds, restores 10% of maximum morale every 4 seconds, restores 2% of, so duration 8 seconds, restores 10% of maximum morale every 4 seconds, restores 2% of maximum morale, and that's in blue line. I don't know if that's true of every line. So yeah, so I don't actually know, because since I really didn't play blue line before the change.
So they're complaining that it's done over time instead of instant?
Maybe, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's because it's over time instead of instant.
That could be.
But the
bottom line is,
actually
yes,
can't
we have nothing to do with that.
Oh, right. We have a new power to change the balance in the game.
Sorry.
We are a dedicated group of fans who get on the air and say, that would be great if anybody's listening out in the great developmentosphere. Can you listen to our cries? Just like every other dedicated fan can do.
Cordovan probably listens, and maybe Made of Lions.
Well, Made of Lions has admitted that he listens.
So, maybe from our lips to the dev's ears.
Yeah.
No
it's like
promises.
playing telephone. It's like playing telephone. It may get translated.
It may get translated, right.
We passed on what we understood.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. If you would like to send us an email, you can send it to podcast@LotroPlayers.com. You could also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, Lotro Players @LotroPlayers, Forte @Forte_Maestro, Carvet our CarvetLP, Maven @TolkienMaven, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles, Sanswinda @Sanswinda, and Terry Adwin @TerryAdwin. The Players Alliance has 4 live shows. Returning on March 6th, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. Every Thursday at 9 p.m.-ish U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. Every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. And on the last Friday of each month at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Academy After School. You can join us for our live shows at LOTROPlayers.com/live. And that is all that we have for tonight. This is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.